Pre-con meeting, aligning on expectations. I don't know about you, but I love pre-construction meetings, otherwise termed pre-installs or preparatory meetings. I'm not talking about the owner's pre-con. I'm talking about the pre-con that we do with every trade 3 weeks before they start. It's absolutely crucial, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about how to align to the expectations, and I'm going to link you to an overall video that I know you're going to love that's titled, "What is a Pre-Construction Meeting in Construction?" So I want you to watch that, and I know you're going to love it. Stay with us. So in the last video, which I will link you to in the description below, we talked about how your process starts out by doing the buyout process and executing a contract. After that, you will have what's called the pre-mobilization meeting. That's where you literally tell the trade partner, before you mobilize, these are the things that we need, right? And then 3 weeks before the work starts, you have this pre-construction meeting, or otherwise known as pre-install, or your preparatory meeting. But this right here happens 3 weeks before you actually start the work. Then before you start, you're able to do your first in-place inspection. Okay, so you're first in place. So this is how the system works. In the pre-con meeting and in the last video, we talked about making sure the plans, the specs, the RFIs, the submittals, and everything is ready, including quality and safety planning, emergency contacts, insurance, bonds, so that we can make sure that we're transferring the information from the first planners to the last planners. Now I want to explain why it's so important to align on expectations. We talked about last time that you will be in a conference room and you will be projecting on the screen this information most likely, and you will have the foreman and the superintendent and the trade PM with any on-site representatives around the table, and we've got to make sure that expectations are clear. So let me start with a couple. One of the best practices is to understand what's called the owner's top 10. So in this process, we need to know what's important to the owner, right? You might say, well, the whole building, right? Just install per the plans and specs. But how many times have we found out, hey, that lobby or that stair or that feature or the waterproofing is the most important thing for the owner? We've got to know that. What do they really care about? Document that, set out on the right foot, and make sure that every trade partner that comes through these pre-construction meetings knows what is the owner's top 10 things that they care about from an expectations standpoint. Second, some companies, and some of the best ones for this work, will have a checklist, okay? And the checklist will be, hey, as a general contractor, these are typically the things that we like to see QC'd or checked as a part of a typical work package, right? Don't ignore this. Most companies have really extensive databases, and for projects that are fairly repetitive, like data centers and nuclear power plants and multifamily buildings, or like restaurants like Chick-fil-A, you install the same thing over and over and over. So for every work package, you can have, again, that visual. That's the outcome of the actual meeting, is to have your installation work package instructions clearly identified. From the last project, you can have information for how to design, fabricate, and install this work package better. So if you have that as an internal resource, make sure it's being reviewed in your meeting. Number 3, you're going to want to collect your pre-mobilization items, okay? What I mean by that is you have collected your safety manual, the quality manual for the trade partner, probably emergency contacts. You have collected the drawings and highlighted them, the specifications and highlighted them, the submittals and highlighted them, and the shop drawings and any other vendor information or manufacturer's installation instructions. Any of this that was collected for the review in the meeting so that we could clearly identify the expectations in the installation work package needs to be reviewed at that time. Now, this is not effective unless you highlight this content before you actually start the meeting. So you'll go through that and make sure that the trade and the foreman specifically know all of those highlighted points Not everything, because that would take too long, but the key things that you're concerned about and that we're all on the same page. And at a minimum, the last thing that you want to do, and I'll do this as S and Q, they are very much tied together, align on safety and quality expectations. For the jobs that I run, they need to be perfectly clean, safe, organized, and we have a very intensive yet simple and effective quality program. This is the time to make sure that the foreman is on board and has bought in and has signed off on the actual plan. And so as a part of this overall process, if you've already prepared for this meeting like we showed you in the last video, the first thing that you do right out of the gate in this meeting is go over the owner's top 10, any previous checklist, the pre-mobilization deliverables that you've prepared that are highlighted, and any safety and quality expectations for this project. And that's the first step in the meeting before you review the plan. Here's the thing. I'm going to turn this into a Canva graphic and a blog post and link you to that video. What is a pre-construction meeting in construction? And I'm going to link you to the other videos that are before and after this one so that you can better implement on your project. But imagine this setting and imagine making sure that everybody's on the same page for expectations. I hope you've enjoyed this video. On we go.